What is going on, my rich British Munchers? It's been here back another episode of my thoughts on, and today we're going to be talking about gaming controls in that. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to have, like, I don't know how this is going to be like in that. I got a bunch of controls down here, and I'm going to show you, basically what I do is, like, when I do my thoughts on that, I usually talk about, like, history with stuff like that, but gaming controls is kind of like a broad, like, thing in that. I'm like FPS games, or, like, emulators, or something like that, or PC gaming in that. It's kind of like, it's more like a broad, like, because controllers are like the thing that, like, makes it interactive in that. That's how we play video games in that, with, like, the controller in that. Yeah. So I think my history with it goes basically back to the first game, basically the history of gaming in that. So the first controller I used was this. Yeah, it's not a controller, it's actually a keyboard, because I was more a PC gamer back then in that, and most of the games were like, let me just get one now. It was mostly just edutainment games, like, not this one. This was like I played this this is like recently in that, but yeah, we basically played with like loading company and stuff like that, things like that. But I think the first controller I played with in that was basically the first console we got, the PS2 in that. And just ignore the wire in that. I've like trying to just trying to be organized in that. So if you see like a green Velcro in that, it's basically me, because I'm trying to sort the wires in that. So yeah, the first controller I actually used was like from the first console. Makes sense in that. And going forward in time, the second, you guys probably know, like after I did PS2, I did PS3 in that. And yeah, we actually did that. Like, there's got like a lot of stuff on the controls in that, but yeah, PS3 was the next console we got in that. We haven't upgraded since, well, me and my sister have upgraded in that, but my parents haven't, because they're not really gamers in that, and everyone in my family is like old enough to have their own consoles in that. And speaking of my own consoles in that, the first console I ever owned was a 360. Yeah, that was the first console I actually owned. Well, not really. The first console I actually owned myself was actually a PlayStation 1 in that, and that was the one before I got any games in that, the one that had a disc problem in it. I eventually fixed up in that. So yeah, the first console I actually owned was a PS2 in that, and then I think after that PS1 in that. Then I owned PS2, and then eventually I got the 360 in that, when I had like more. This is like the modern-ish console I just brought in that. I still have it with me as well in that. Or back to this is like the one I brought when I got the white console in that. The one that I had, that one was kind of like a junk one in that, so it's been chucked out ages ago in that. So yeah, and then the first modern console I actually owned was the Xbox One in that, and this is the one I got with my Xbox One S in that, because the other because the other one I had was actually for my ex-girlfriend in that, and she has it at the moment. So yeah, this is like the first console actually this is like the first modern console I got in that. Well, modern. No, I'm probably not gonna say modern as in like yeah, I haven't like played well, modern-ish, because we're heading right down to the 9th generation that with like the. And I said before in that, I'm not planning on like buying like a Series X for a PS5 in that. I'm planning on upgrading my computer in that, which hopefully be in a weekend in that, because they're having a sale at PB Tech. So yeah. And stuff like that. So that's basically like my timeline of controls, and that basically goes with like all the consoles I used in that. But yeah, now let's just basically do about like my thoughts in that, like what type of controls I have in that, and let's be showing up with like all the other controllers I have, because I have more than just PS3 in that. For instance, oh my goodness, oh god, I can't reach. God damn it, it's been charging, so I think. And I've brought like more controllers in that, more consoles in that by the time I go. So yeah, so I basically got like a PS4 myself. I finally got a PS4 in that after like, I got a PS4 like not a month ago, it was like a couple months ago. So I had like this like right before, I think this is like happened like right when they had like the other consoles in there, and then Xbox One, well, not the Xbox One, because there's a console called the Xbox One in there. It's very confusing in that, but yeah, I got more controls in that. To see about my favorite one in there, it actually depends on what type of game it is in there. If it's like a racing game or platformer, I prefer a controller in that. But if it's like a strategy or like a shooter in that, I actually prefer like mouse and keyboard in that. So it depends on like So I'm not much of a so since I'm like not much of like a PC gamer or a console gamer and that, I'm more like just a casual gamer and that. So it doesn't matter if it's controller or console and that. It's basically just controller or keyboard and that. It's basically just the console I own and that. But yeah, but I think for my all time like all my favorite controllers in that, I think the worst one is like PS4 and that. I know I've got used to it, but it just feels off in there, and that's why I haven't like touched the PS4 and like I haven't like PS4 like the least console I've ever played with in that. But I think overall, I think my favorite console is probably like it's actually the 360 now. The 360 just feels like it just feels natural to me in that. Even the Xbox One controller to an extent in that. I think the Xbox is like probably my favorite controllers in that. And I think my second favorite is probably like one that I'm more nostalgic over, PS3. It's also because I'm more like used to it and stuff like that. Yeah, especially this model and that. But I actually like talk about like third party controllers, which I actually do have. I got a third party PS3 controller in that, and that one's not actually on the wire. And I also got this is the one I got with my PS4 in it because the PS4 one I got it from like a pawn shop a pawn shop in that. So this is like yeah, that's the one I got from the pawn shop in that. But then I realized how like it's basically just it really feels uncomfortable in that, even more uncomfortable than the actual official controller is in that. And I've got like I got this rubber thing around it. I brought it. I think my sister, because my sister has like a PS4 as well, and she brought two control covers in it. And I have it because the one I got was like, this controller is like second hand in it, and it has like some like weird like sticky stuff on it. I think it's like sticker residue in that, and I just felt awful in it. So I put I put the covering on it. It actually feels even worse in it. So yeah, PS4 worst console, best controller, Xbox Series in that. And I think honorable mention goes to like I think it's the S controller. Yes, this one's kind of rare in that, and yeah, it kind of feels a bit more stiffer than like than the one in the Xbox One in that, like the 360 and the one. But it is like it is basically the same in that. And also like the other controllers in there, like so I have like friends who actually have like Xbox One, Xbox Series X's and PS5s in that. And the PS5 controller feels basically the same as like it kind of feels basically like a Xbox, like it actually feels more like an Xbox One controller than the PS4 in that. If it makes sense in that. But yeah, it feels like a lot more, and the Series S, the Series X, the Series controller is basically the same as this, with just an extra button in that. So I think the PS5, I might like get like a PS5 controller just for like, cause you can like use it for like your PC in that, so I might just use it as like an extra controller in that. But yeah. And mouse and keyboard, I've grew up with like, I've played with like many FPS games in there with like mouse and keyboard in there. So, but it was always like, the reason why I prefer, but not telling like the piece like, with like mouse and keyboard in there is a lot, oh god, no, I don't click anything like mouse and keyboard. It's like what I'm using right now in it, so I'm not like making sure that, yeah, if it's like for platformers in it, I know a lot of people like having like the like the arrow keys and like, well, control to jump for the old DOS games in there. But I think even for like, but I'm actually like used to like having like a controller for like those platformer games in it. Cause I don't know, I think the analog stick is a lot better than like having like the arrow keys in it. I think the arrow keys, I'm more used to like the arrow keys for like the FPS games in that than like platformers in that. Same with the driving controls in that. Cause if you're driving like if you have like a driving game in it, you have like and you have this to like accelerate and stuff like that. I'm actually used to like having that as an accelerator, and even having like the analog stick in it to like steer and stuff like that. It's more comfortable than just yet again having like WASD in it. It just feels like it feels alien to me in it, having like ASWD where arrow keys to like drive a car, and it just feels weird. I just prefer having like, even if you have like the steering wheel controller in that, which I have never actually used in my life in that. Because I don't know, I never had it, and I did have Guitar Hero in that. So yeah, I did have like sort of like I don't know, like alternatives, and I also have where's my oh yeah, got my Connect up there as well in that. So I basically like used it, and I also had like the Move in it. So I had like kind of like the hands-on controls in it, and they also had the I got a phone in that. So obviously I got touch screens in that, which okay, I'm gonna have a bit of a rant in that, and this is I'm gonna like explain it more in detail when I do like mobile games in it, which I probably never do in it. But for some reason, the touch screen in it it just feels like I don't know why. This feels weird and I have like on especially if I'm on the screen in it, but I don't know. I don't have like a tablet in there, but I usually like thank God for Bluetooth in there. But I usually like connect like Xbox because the Xbox One has like Bluetooth in it, so I usually use it to connect it to like my to my tablet now. And I usually use like the controller for like cause in most like mobile games in that like use the controller as well in that. So I prefer like using that over like the touchscreen in that. But if it's like simple games in there, like I've got I think I got Jetpack Joyride on this thing in there. It's more if I'm used to like having those ones, you like touch it once in there. And we're like Hilltop Climb, we have like 2 buttons in there. I'm used to like having that, but having something like Doom or like Grand Theft Auto next. I got like the Grand Theft Auto series on the thing in there, including I'm mostly like playing it for like Liberty City Stories in there, which is slowly becoming my favorite out of the series in there. But I've mostly made it for that. But if I'm using it for those ones in there, especially Doom, like obviously got Doom on my controller on my phone in that, then I'll probably just use like a controller in there and touchscreens in that. But I'll do it more in detail in that when we do like the where we do more of we'll do more of like mobile games in it, but that's basically in it. So yeah, it's basically the type of like if you like say if what's better keyboard or controller in that. I'm just gonna say they're both like equal, like better and worse, and their strengths and weaknesses in it. So I'm neither I'm neither a console peasant or a PC master race in it, even though I mostly like playing the games on PC in that. So yeah, so my hands are getting quite dirty because obviously I'm a PC gamer now, so most of these controls have like dust on them and that. So I'm gonna pause it right. I'm just gonna like end right here and just wash my hands in it. So anyway, my choice, man. Please subscribe, like, comment, comment down below what control you prefer in that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.